I'm super excited. Today I have the opportunity to turn my client's nails from this to this. And I have a confession to make. It has been at least 3 or 4 years since I have done a full set of gel extensions. So I was a little bit nervous, but I'm super excited to try out the new Light Elegance Ideal Pink Extreme Hard Gel. This is their most popular formula and their most popular shade, and they have now put the two together to create the most beautiful hard gel you can use for overlays or gel extensions. So let's get started. I am up for the challenge, even though I haven't done this in a long time. So let's go back to where we started. This is what she came in with. She had some gel polish on her nails that she had done herself. So I needed to remove that, and I went ahead and just used a diamond e-file bit to just gently and safely remove all of that. And this is what we were working with underneath. And I was actually surprised. She does have quite a bit of free edge to work with on her nails, even though they're shorter. So that was great. Then I just went ahead and prepped them to get ready for the gel application. You want to make sure when using hard gel, the nails do have a little bit of texture on them. So you can use a hand file, or you can use your sanding band, whatever you prefer. And you want to not just remove the shine, but make sure there is a little bit of texture added to that nail plate, and that'll help with the adhesion. So after I've done all my prep, I am now just shaping the nails. I'm just rounding them out a little bit because I know that forms can be kind of tricky to fit under nails if they are square, just kind of like our natural nails just kind of curve and twist and do interesting things like that. So I want to make sure they're all nice and even, and that I have curved in any sharp corners or anything like that that could make it a little bit more difficult for those forms to fit. And for this, I'm using the Lexi files. This is the 100 and 180 grit, and I'm using the 180 right now on her natural nail to shape the free edge. And you can see the thumb is a little bit shorter. I knew I would probably have a harder time with that one, just again because I have not done this in a long time. So I knew the thumb would be a little bit of a challenge, but we figured it out. You're gonna have to watch how we get that form under that thumb. Now I'm using the lint-free wipes. These are my all-time favorite wipes. I don't use any other wipes except this. These are the best lint-free wipes ever, like truly lint-free. And I am just scrubbing the nails with cleanser, removing any oils, dirt, debris, all that stuff. Then I'm going in with the tack, and this is like your kind of primer, almost like a double-sided sticky tape. This is gonna really help with the adhesion. And I am using the brush to really scrub in the product to the natural nail. And really, she has like great, beautiful, healthy natural nails. They just look beautiful. So I am using that on all 10 nails, and then you do want to make sure and give this a cure in your lamp. They do also have their Vita Prime primer, which is an acid primer and really should be used sparingly to really help with those problem lifters. So you could start with that if you needed to. I just didn't feel like it was necessary because she didn't really have oily hands or oily nails, and her nails were in a really great healthy state. I really thought that the tack would be just fine by itself. Now for the forms, I'm just using the regular basic nail forms, and to make sure I get a really good snug fit, I do cut little notches on the side, and this will help kind of get that form to really fit nicely under the nail and get a really nice C curve. And so that's what I was doing. And then I decided, you know what, I wanted to try their new forms, their Max form. And I loved these so much. I ended up taking off the other forms and just doing all of the nails with these Max forms. They are a little bit thicker paper, so they don't bend and fold quite as easily. They're also extremely sticky. I had to remove my gloves. I could not apply the forms with gloves on because they were just gonna stick to it. And they just have a really nice, great shape and structure. And my favorite part is they actually have little guides on the side. You can see those little black lines, and that can help you know exactly where to cut. So you can place it onto the nail and then see where those little black guidelines fit into there and make your cuts so that the form will fit perfectly and snugly underneath of the nail. Snugly? Is that a word? Snugly? So this worked so good that I was like, you know what? We're just going to take the forms off the first two and we are going to switch and just use the max form because it just made it so much easier. So I really enjoyed using these, and so I went ahead and applied these to all 10 nails. I think I skipped the thumbs and then I applied them to the thumbs later after I had already done the gel on the first 4 fingers. So I'm just making sure that the forms are all nice and snug and straight before I go ahead and apply the gel. And again, the gel that we're going to be using, I'm super excited to try it, is the Ideal Pink Extreme Gel from Light Elegance. And this is a semi-opaque natural pink shade. So it is a little bit on the warmer side, not super bubblegum pink, but also not super peachy either. It's like the perfect neutral mid-tone pink. And the Extreme line is their most popular line. It's a medium viscosity, so it does self-level a little bit, but it does also hold its shape. So you have a really good working time. It's not going to run really quickly, and you have a little bit of time to work with it to build your structure, to get the shape that you want. So that part is really nice, especially when we're doing things like this, like extensions or long nails. You usually don't want a gel that's going to run and flood the sidewalls or the cuticle area like really quickly. So this is a great gel to use for what we're doing today. And then let's compare it to the colors that they already offer in the Extreme gels. So they have the Baby Pink Extreme, which is going to be your most like pink, bubblegum pink, soft pink, which is a little bit less pink, a little more soft. They have Cashmere, which is a really great peachy tone. And now they've added the Ideal Pink to the mix, which is like that perfect in between like soft pink and cashmere. It is so nice. This is actually the type of shade that I usually gravitate towards. I don't usually go for the really bright like a bubblegum pink colors. I usually want something more neutral, more natural, and this is the exact shade that I would totally pick out to use on my clients. It's gorgeous. So let's go ahead and apply our extensions. So to apply the gel, I'm using the number 6 gel polish bling brush. It's a nice round brush that you can use for color application, but you can also use it for your builder gel application as well. And so I'm using this and I'm kind of holding it almost like a pencil and like sketching out the free edge or the new free edge of exactly kind of the length and shape that I want to have for the nails. I'm building out the new free edge to the little number 2 marker on the form. So that way each nail is going to be about the same length. And this is actually a little bit longer than I am planning on making the nails, but I want to have a little bit of wiggle room so that I can shape them to like that perfect nice shape that I want them to be. And so I want to make them just a tad bit longer so I have room to really refine that shape. One thing I am making sure to do is connect the sidewalls to the gel all the way from sidewall to sidewall so that way we have a really good base for our new free edge and everything is attached and everything is nice and strong. There's no gaps, anything like that, especially on the sidewalls, because then that can cause a break. So I want to make sure that that gel is connected to the natural nail all the way from sidewall to sidewall, and then I'm dragging it out and creating that more of like an almond shaped free edge. I did find when doing this, you could get away with doing a couple nails at a time if you wanted to, because again, the gel, it does self-level, but it's not runny. So that is like the perfect consistency for building out these extensions, because the gel is not going to run all over the place. You're not going to have to chase it on the form. I really don't like doing that. I want it to hold its shape, and so you can really get your basic shape going, and it's going to stay exactly where you put it. And then you can go and give it a cure in your lamp and pop the form right off, and you have your new free edge. At this time, I'm not worrying about building the structure just yet. I'm going to do that with my second layer. So all I'm doing is building out that new free edge, and I'm just overlapping the gel on the natural nail a little bit. I haven't gone all the way to the cuticle area yet. You can also get out your liner brush. I'm using the stripey brush if you need to. And again, I'm just being really extra cautious to make sure the gel is connected all the way from one side wall to the other side wall. So I'm using that stripey brush just to refine the gel and pull it, drag it exactly where I need it to go. Now for the thumbs, you can see there is quite a bit of a gap because the thumbs are much straighter than the rest of the nails that have more of a little bit of a curve to the nail bed. And so to fix this, I am using that little center tab, and I'm actually flipping it around and sticking it in the underside of the form so that I can get a straighter edge. So you see that new little silver piece that I have added, it fits a lot better. I needed to just cut it just a little bit. Sometimes we have to really make these kind of custom for our clients so that they fit perfectly under their nail. So I just curved it out just a little bit, and then you can see it fit so much better. It's so nice. It went all the way up under her free edge. Then I went ahead and I still made those little notches on the side, and I used those guides on the form. And then we had a really, really nice fit under the thumb. Once all the nails have been cured and I've popped all the forms off, I'm going in and I am now building up that structure. So I'm using the same number 6 brush, and I'm applying a thin layer over the entire nail. And then I'm going to go in and grab a bigger bead of product, and I'm going to place that down right where I want the most product to be, so in the apex area. And I'm going to go side to side, bringing that gel down the nail, and I'm gonna keep it towards the center of the nail. Like, think of like a mohawk, okay? So we are keeping the gel in the center. We're kind of building this mohawk, and that is where we want the most structure. So I'm gonna keep all the product towards the center, and then I'm gonna let it self-level. I'm gonna help it a little bit maybe with my brush, but I'm gonna let it self-level down to the sides and down to the cuticle area so that those areas don't get too thick. So we want our nice apex and structure to be towards the center of the nail and towards that middle area. This gel is really so nice to work with, especially for doing sets like this. Again, it holds its shape, but it does melt into each other really beautifully. So it's not going to be super, super stiff. It's going to be like that perfect medium viscosity, which I love. So it's just really great, really easy to work with. I think it's great for beginners, and I think it's also great for somebody who is transitioning maybe from using acrylic, because it's not going to be super runny and just run all over the place. I think it's a little bit easier to use if you're used to using acrylic. And it's also the most flexible of all of the gels. Now, don't confuse flexibility with lacking in strength. A lot of times flexibility is actually what's going to give us more strength. The nails are going to be a little bit more shock absorbent than if something was super strong and brittle. So if you think of like glass does not bend at all. It will just shatter. So we do want a little bit of flex in our nail products so that as we're going through our day-to-day lives, our nails will not just shatter completely, like they will be able to absorb some of that wear and tear that we just do naturally using our hands all the time. So this gel has like the perfect balance of flexibility and strength, so it's gonna last really well on most nail types. I think it's just a really great all-around gel. So once I've gone ahead and built up the nails and I have cured everything, now it's time to do some shaping. Me and my client were like laughing. I'm like, oh, we're done, thanks. No, just kidding. I need to refine them and shape them. And that's really where they are just gonna shine and just look so beautiful. And look how much longer this makes her nail beds look. Like, we have just created these most beautiful elongated nail beds, and then we're gonna do this French design, and it is just gonna look stunning. I am loving this color. It's so natural. So I'm using, again, that Lexi line file in the 180 side, and the first thing that I'm doing is just refining the free edge and the outermost shape, basically. So I'm not going to worry about filing the surface just yet. I want to go ahead and do all 10 nails and just refine the free edge and shape. So after I have shaped the nails and I got the shape and length that I think I want, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to cross compare both hands, and if anything needs to be shorter, then I can adjust, or if one of the nails looks kind of off from the rest, I can adjust. So you always want to make sure and compare. And then also you want to make sure and flip their hands around and see from their angle as well, because sometimes it can look really good from our angle and then you flip it around and you're like, whoa, like what is going on with this nail? It looks totally different from their angle. So you want to make sure, check both sides. So after I've done that, now I'm going to go ahead and refine the surface. So the first thing I'm doing is I am going in and debulking kind of the sides, and I am going to debulk the free edge just to make sure we have the most product in the center of the nail. So you can see I haven't even touched towards the center of the nail where the apex is going to be, because that's where I want the most product. So that's the last place I'm going to touch. So I'm going to go around, debulk the rest of the nail, and then the last thing I'm going to do is go in and just smooth out the top so that we have a nice, beautiful apex so that her nails are nice and strong. And then after this, I'm going to use the foamy buffer and then actually buff over all of the nails to completely smooth them out so that they are ready for our color, because we don't want to leave any harsh scratches in the nail from the file, because the color will show that. So we want to make sure they're nice and smooth. Using the foamy buffer, they just get super smooth and perfect for our color. Now this is what they looked like, all done and shaped, and I have buffed them so they are just ready for the next step, which is going to be our color and design. And I have to say, for not doing a full set in like 3 or 4 years, I think they look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. I definitely think I need to keep practicing and I could make some improvements, but I feel like for not doing it for a while, I think they look pretty good. What do you think? So I'm super excited about the color portion. We are going to be using some new colors from their latest collections. We have Lovebug, Miss Martian, and Trippy. So 2 bright pinks and a super bright neon orange. And I was inspired by this like retro design that I saw, and I kind of wanted to recreate it but switch it up, use these really fun neons, and I just love the vibes. So I'm gonna do a French on 3 of the nails, and I am using the stripey brush to outline my French, and then I'm going in with that number 6 brush again, and I am just filling it in, and then I'm going back in with the stripey to refine it. So I think the French just looks so good, especially against that ideal pink shade. It just looks so nice, and her nail beds look so long. I just think it's stunning. So I'm super happy with this. So then we went in with the orange, and then I did the lighter pink on the thumbs. And then for the 2 middle fingers, I did that retro design, and I am using the buttercreams for this, but you could also use the gel polishes. I have been very impressed by the pigmentation in the gel polish colors. They are super nice and creamy and pigmented. I decided to go with the buttercreams just because they hold their shape a little bit more than the gel polish, so I can get a really, really crispy French, but you could totally use the P+ gel polish as well. So these colors come in the buttercreams and the P+ gel polish. So you have the options to use whatever you'd like. So for the design, I'm using the swirly brush and the stripey brush, and I'm just creating these really fun retro swirls in these stripes. This design kind of reminds me of either like sherbet or candy or like a roller derby, something fun like that. I just love these colors together. I am curing in between each color. That way, if you make a mistake, you can always wipe it off, and you're not going to wipe off the entire design, and also the colors aren't going to run together. So you want to make sure you cure in between each shade. Using the white gel paints, I am adding some little stars around the swirls, and then you'll see, like I had just mentioned, I wasn't happy with a couple of the stars. They just looked kind of crooked to me, so I did go ahead and just wipe them off, and it's okay. The rest of the design is totally fine. I'm using the lint-free wipes and just a little tiny bit of cleanser to just clean off the mistake, and then I'm starting again and adding some new stars. So once all the colors are cured, it's time to finish the design with the top coat. I'm using the Light Elegance Super Shiny. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know this top coat has been a staple of mine for a long time. It is 100% stain proof. You could give a hairstylist white nails with this top coat and it's not gonna stain. It's the best. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this on all the nails. It also has a really great consistency, so you can float it on if you need to, and it will cover over the nail art and make like a really nice smooth finish, so it won't be bumpy. So I love that as well. It's just, I gotta have this top coat always. It's just a must have. Then go ahead and apply your cuticle oil. I'm using the Light Elegance cuticle oil here, and I'm just dabbing onto the nail because the nail is nice and clean, and then I am moving it around onto the cuticle area. Then you're gonna rub in this cuticle oil. Then I use a lint-free wipe and go ahead and scrub the nails and polish the nails up. and they are so shiny. So that's how I kind of finish the set. So here is the finished result. What do you guys think for my first time doing a full set in a few years? Like, I think I did pretty good, and the cuticles look so good. Like, what an awesome transformation. I was super excited to be able to do this little transformation video for you guys and use the new Light Elegance Ideal Pink Extreme Gel for this look. I also want to thank Light Elegance for sponsoring this video, and you can check out their products at lightelegance.com. As always, they are HEMA-free, so if your client has sensitivities or allergies, like, it's the perfect product to use for that. They make everything in-house. It's vegan, cruelty-free, 9-free, and again, HEMA-free. So really great quality ingredients that you can trust. Also, the Lexi line does have many different viscosities, so if you're into something that has a little bit more float, or you want something really thick to do some really long nails, like, they have everything to cover all your needs, and so many different shades to choose from that really everybody can find something that will work for them. I appreciate you guys watching this and supporting my channel. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you later in the next video.